Hey everyone, welcome to the Cash Practice Solution Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. J. Today, we're getting into another critical aspect of the $2 million practice. We're discussing the power of hospitality and customer service in creating a practice that patients love to visit. They actually like coming here, as opposed to other places where, oh God, we gotta go to the doctor's office. People actually like coming, and first impressions matter. So the moment a patient walks through your door, that's when the experience begins. And your reception area should feel like walking into a good friend's home. Warm, welcoming, attentive, not smelling like sterile alcohol and cleaning solution, but lovely. And it's not hard to do. In fact, from the very beginning, when we opened our office 20 years ago, we put a wind chime over the door so that when a patient walks in, there's this little clink, cling, cling, little tinkles when the door opens, and you know when a patient has come in, and it's not intrusive at all. It's very gentle, but it's also a Zen thing. Apparently, it's feng shui. You're supposed to do that, and it's very nice. It's very welcoming, and the patient, their arrival is very clear. They've arrived. So at that point, your reception staff should make eye contact, not looking down at their paper, not distracted. And they should greet the patient warmly. Helps if your technology has a picture of the patient and their name by it, so you know their name. Say, hi Jane, and set clear expectations for the patient for what's going to happen next. Not, have a seat, we'll be with you in a little bit. You tell them, I have a room ready for you, it's going to be a couple of minutes. Or, come with me, we're going to get you in a room. The patient in the building is the number one priority. Put the phone on hold. Leave messages and paperwork for later, set them aside. Every other piece of business is secondary to the patient in the reception area. This is a problem that happens in so many offices. The patient comes in and they're ignored. It doesn't make any sense at all. No one will feel welcome if they're not welcomed. So you have to say, hey, how are you doing? Come on in. And so in our reception area, and as we recommend this to docs, a relaxed setting with a beverage station, with tea and coffee. You can use a Keurig if you want, something like that. And of course you have to have guest Wi-Fi. You have to have it. It's essential to the patient experience. Kind of interesting. We'll talk about selecting staff and building a team later, but part of the greatness of our staff is they're always on the lookout for really comfortable living room furniture that's easy to clean on special at furniture stores and things like that as part of their participation in our office. They're always finding cool looking stuff that we can put in the waiting room, in the reception area. It's not a waiting room. You don't want to wait, you want to receive people. That's part of the mojo of a really good practice. It's comfortable. It feels like you're in somebody's home. It's welcoming. So the front office staff, they greet the person who walks in, and then they continue the process by moving the patient to a treatment room as quickly as possible. Getting a patient to a treatment room causes them to experience a very positive, oh, I was expected. I'm important to this to participation in this process. It's important. And if we can, before they even sit down, we like to get them moved from, hey, welcome, come on in. I've got a room waiting for you. Let's walk down the hall. So instead we call the reception area furniture like a trampoline. Think of it that way, where you bounce right off of it. You don't spend any time there. And don't refer to the reception area as a waiting room. It's a bad idea because it puts the wrong idea in your mind. The patient should hardly ever have to wait. And if you set up your appointments right and you're not too packed in, sometimes it's emergencies, you can't help it, but generally you want to have enough time that the office staff, the front office staff, and your MAs have casual visiting time where they're not in a rush. You should never have a patient feel as if they're being rushed, and you don't want to feel a time crunch. So once the patient gets to the exam room and the treatment room, they should feel this kind of like, this is all oiled and ready, and I'm the most important person here. The room should be completely spotless. Everything should be stocked. This is probably stuff that you know, but when you're in the flow and your practice is working well, you can miss these things, so don't miss them. The workflow should be really smooth. That gives the patient a much better experience. Your professionalism and that sense of everything is just waiting for me. In our office, we use lots of little caddies so that they can be restocked, and that way we never run out of things and there's never any surprises. And my venerable snacks. We go to big box store, Costco, Sam's, whatever, and we get huge packages of little snacks. So they're set out in every room. That and drinks. We have waters available. If they don't want a water or they, for some reason, have run out in the room, our staff offers them drinks. The snacks that we have, they fit kind of every demographic. Some people like peanut butter crackers. They're not my favorite. Some people need to have pure protein. We have protein snacks, little meat sticks, those kinds of things. For little kids, we have gummies. In case a parent comes in with a child, we want to be able to occupy them with something and make them feel like, Mom, I want to come back to that doctor's office. He's really nice. Because that's a big part of the experience. You want the patient to feel like they matter. After that, after this very important part, unbelievably inexpensive. You might spend $1 per patient visit. Mostly patients don't take advantage of the snacks that are there. Often they'll have a water. Some patients will fill their pockets with snacks. That does happen. But don't let that inhibit you. It's rare. And you won't go broke doing this. And it'll make a huge difference. They feel loved and cared for. But what we also do, which is amazing, this is probably kind of a revolutionary thing, but you can do it. It's not super expensive. We have touchscreen TVs in each room on the wall. So instead of having a computer in front of you blocking the patient, the touchscreen is on the wall with the software set up in the touchscreen TV. So the patient can review their labs and other documentation. For instance, an MRI scan comes in. We can pop, and we can review the MRI together. Prescriptions, you can do it on the wall with the patient. So you review the prescriptions, maybe their current medications, and e-scribe during the visit on the wall. So the patient has, oh, that's right, I'm supposed to take that just in the morning. Oh, I thought it was twice a day. No, you're prescribing it. So you're killing two birds with one stone. You're getting that patient to have an experience of your prescribing, and then you're getting clarity, and then ultimately compliance, which is great. So instead of creating a barrier to engagement with that laptop, the touchscreens make it easy to engage, and it's actually true shared decision-making because you're sharing a screen and you're doing that consultation with the patient, actually actively with them. And all sorts of essential services can be added at this point to maximize the value of the encounter, so that you have that screen in front of you and say, oh, and also I notice here that you wanted to have a trigger point injection today. And this kind of interactive technology, it's actually a legal requirement in the open notes systems. The High-Tech Act actually requires us to do this, but the touchscreen makes it's a huge value because instead of it being kind of a hassle, like, I got to share this information, it becomes useful, and you can actually do it in a context where the patient feels like they're being welcomed into an educational experience. They see that your technology is excellent, and they can tell that you're very professional. And then when that's all said and done, you can close out the visit in the room by pressing that close out button, or send them up front. So closing out the visit in the treatment room should always include, and this is something I'm pretty conscientious about, I rarely miss it, thanks for letting us take care of you today, or thanks for letting me take care of you today. It's a privilege that I have, that I get to share with the patient, that I get to have them in my space. It's not a privilege for them. It's a privilege for me, and I communicate that. And then instead of saying, well, we should do a follow-up in 3 or 6 months or whatever, you invite them to follow up. So even if it's as far as a year in the future, then you want to say, hey, let's not let another year go by, or let's not let a few months go by, or the holidays are coming, but before the holidays, let's make sure we get together again. So you're really inviting them almost to a friendly greeting, a friendly meeting, not so much an appointment, but they're being engaged on a much more personal level. The front office staff should manage your refills on the way out, making sure if they have supplements they need to get or other products, they can check the record, make sure that's all there. And making this kind of stuff really convenient to patients is good patient care. Supplements, prescription updates, next appointments, that's good patient care. And it's really important to your bottom line as an independent practice that those things get done. You have to have your follow-ups. Every patient should have a follow-up. No matter how long out it is, they should have a follow-up. Their supplements and prescriptions should always be reviewed. And the great hospitality doesn't end when the patient leaves the office. So follow-up care is one of the best ways to build a strong doctor-patient relationship. So if you want to send a thank you note or a follow-up appointment note, that's great. Somehow patients, they'll walk out of your office and forget that you're involved in their life unless you remind them. Our technology and some really good systems, they'll send a thank you note automatically, which is great. So those things can be automated. But more than anything, customer service, taking really good care of a patient, making them feel welcome, making them feel like they're at home, that if they need a snack, they have it. If they need a drink, they can have it. That all the information that's at your disposal, you want to share with them, shared decision making. This doesn't need to be a formulaic or highly administrative process. It can be a very friendly process. And if you design it that way from the beginning, patients will respond by being friendly to you and telling their friends to come, and they'll be happy to be your patients for a long time rather than the revolving door of an urgent care style practice. So in our next episode, I'm going to get into a lot of the procedural stuff that can be done within this context, great hospitality, outcomes and incomes matching, including in that the use of really well-placed procedures to improve your bottom line and also patient convenience. They have a lot more money to spend usually than they have time to go running around to a doctor's office for hours of delay in care and all that. So in a technology-driven world where more and more AI and that kind of stuff is happening, these procedures are going to be critical. So we're going to get into it and get pretty deep into it, maybe spend a couple episodes because I think it's that important. So join us next time as we reveal those simple steps for outstanding patient results and financial success. So thanks for tuning in to the Cash Practice Solution Podcast. I'm Dr. J, and I'm here to remind you, fulfilling cash practice is within reach, and we can help you get there. If you want to maximize your current cash practice or start out on the right foot, check out all the resources at cashpracticesolution.com. So until next time, listen to your patients, learn their stories, and love them with all of your heart, and you'll be unstoppable.
Thanks for joining us. And if you have enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes packed with insights to help your cash-based practice thrive. And don't forget to check out all the tools and resources available at cashpracticesolution.com. They're free to you, and we're always adding more. Keep raising the bar in patient care. We'll reconnect in the next episode with more ways to help you succeed.